In this video, I am going to teach you the number one exercise you can use today to integrate your plant and earth medicine experiences. My name is Sam Kaber, and welcome back to the Spirituality Simplified channel, where it is my aim to take these big topics and just this challenging human experience, especially after going through any sort of spiritual awakening, whether it be from medicine, Kundalini awakening, spontaneous awakening, anything at all, and really grounding it into physical form and making it so much more accessible. So having said that, in today's video, we are going to dive into the soul life evaluation. Now, this is a very special video. I want you guys to know that I am actually sharing something that I teach that comes out of my 12-week private container called Structured Flow. It is my 12-week program to help people really ground their spiritual awakening experiences into everyday life with resources, tools, education, roadmap, and most of all, community. So having said that, I'm going to share my screen here in a little bit and give you a glimpse into our workbook. We actually have a physical copy workbook, and this is just the soft copy, the Google document that I'm going to go over today. And it is the very first assignment that we do in Structured Flow, especially if you are currently integrating a plant or earth medicine experience and ceremony. This is the perfect time to watch this video and to utilize this worksheet from the program. Let's go ahead and talk about the archetypal energies of yin and yang, or yang. The first thing to really understand here is that when I say yin, that is similar to the archetypal energy of the feminine, and yang is the archetypal energy of the masculine. So yang and masculine, that is really like, you could just think about as the human doing as opposed to the human being. It's physical expression, it's obligations, it's structure, it's taking action. Whereas yin and the feminine is really more of our inner world, and it is the true human being. It's your connection to something greater than this physical experience, your connection to your higher self, your spirituality, its receptivity, its flow, its intuition, all of these sorts of things. I wrote a book last year called Soul Life Balance. And the reason is because I had work-life balance. I was running $1 million company while working less than 4 hours a day. I had everything I ever wanted, but in truth, I was empty inside. I'm one of those people who was chasing goals, and on a subconscious level, I didn't realize I was setting goals, saying to myself on a subconscious level, oh, when I achieve ABC, then I will feel XYZ. And it all culminated in 2019 being named to Silicon Valley's 40 under 40 list. And when my business hit $1 million and I was working less than 4 hours a day, and I knew I should have been happy, but I went through a numbing depression. And that's when breathwork found me. That's when ayahuasca found me. And that very first night of my ayahuasca ceremony, my first sit with Aya back in 2019, this concept of soul life balance came to me. But I really had to embody it and live it before I could talk about it. And it took me 3 years of doing deep inner work to really embody that. And I shared that through my book, Soul Life Balance. So the basic premise of the principle of soul life balance is to be in the present moment. Whereas with work-life balance, it's often looked at as chasing a future state. It's that subliminal and subconscious program of when I achieve ABC, I will feel XYZ. Soul life balance is coming back to the present moment. It's the reframe of work-life balance where we realize that work is part of the human experience. We don't have a personal life and a work life. We're living just this one life. And by putting the soul before our life, we're putting our connection to our higher self, God, divinity, creator, source, whatever resonates with you, your inner world, your connection to spirituality first and foremost. And this is the practice not only for integration, but increased mental well-being, mental health in general. So now we're going to dive into the worksheet now that we have a basic understanding of soul life balance. This is the inside of Structured Flow, my 12-week program, week 1, the very first assignment. I'm not going to read this to you guys because that would be like death by PowerPoint. I'm just going to give you a visual. A lot of this is kind of what I just went over: soul life balance, work life balance, yin and yang. So let's just get straight into the assignment. So this is a 2-part assignment, and I'm just going to show this to you guys on a high level. The first part of the assignment is journaling, and the second part of the assignment is taking action. And as you can see right there with journaling and taking action, how this is a 2-part assignment, it is the perfect blend of yin and yang, of the feminine and masculine, because the journaling represents the yin, it represents the femininity, it represents going within and bringing all of those answers, finding those ways to get the answers for yourself rather than outsourcing it to someone else to tell you what those answers are. Because always remember, the answers are within you. It's just which tools are you going to use to access those answers? And then the masculine is taking action, because it's one thing to just sit there and, do the journaling and be like, okay, this is what my soul life evaluation is. But if you don't take action, what's the point? There's no integration. Integration is the action of your plant medicine ceremony. Whatever came through, maybe it felt like a roadmap or directions to do this or that. You want to actually make those changes in the physical realm. We don't want to just have that experience, because then it's just an experience, it's a memory, and we're not actually having transformation because we're not taking action. That's why it's so important to have both. So let's go through this, and we'll do it pretty quick here. So the idea is to journal for 20 minutes nonstop. And really, you could do this stream of consciousness style with no journaling prompts, or if it's more helpful, you could use the prompts below. But basically, for this journaling exercise, we're going to look at 3 key areas. First being spirituality and soul development, meaning what is my connection to my higher self, my inner world, and my curiosity and thirst for soul development. The second being personal development, which is your relationships, your communications, your hobbies, things like that. And then we're going to actually separate work from your personal development, because your personal development is really like personal, right? It's not business. It's not making money. It's not work. That's separate. So the last thing we're going to look at is work, because many times this may not be the case for you, but what I've seen amongst most of my peers and working with literally over 1,000 people on this in the past 4 years or so, is that the number one constant I see is a career transition when someone is going through a spiritual awakening. Most times, whether it's through plant medicine, earth medicine, spontaneous awakening, kundalini awakening, any of these sorts of things, but especially when working with plant medicine ceremonies and you're new to that, we start to realize, maybe what I was doing work-wise isn't fully in alignment. And that's amazing if it is in alignment. I'm just saying most of the time we see that there is a career transition looming, which is why it's important to include that in this evaluation. So I'll go over a few of these prompts. You can either pause this video to get the prompts, or you can leave a comment and ask me for them, and I'm happy to send you an email with them. My email's in the description as well. So the prompts for the first bucket of spirituality and soul development are: what does soul spirituality mean to me? How am I feeding my soul daily? Said another way, how am I connecting with a higher purpose to this human experience on a daily basis? Number 3, in what ways do I practice spirituality? Which do I like? Which do I not enjoy as much, but I continue to do them or try to do them because I think I should be doing them? Now, I would like to pause on this one, because so often I see that when people are new on the path, they try to be a good spiritual person and do all the things. You know what I'm talking about. Wake up in the morning, do a few minutes of breath work, lead into a meditation, then journal about what came up. And then now it's time to have some ACV, that's apple cider vinegar water with Himalayan salt and turmeric, and then get into your yoga flow. And that is my morning routine. Well, that's great. If that works for you, that's amazing. But the thing is, most of us are doing this as kind of like, oh, I think I should be doing this. This is what I was told to do, and I'm just going to do it. As you can see, I'm using the word do. The word do represents the masculine. It represents the yang, whereas spirituality is all about being. It's about working with flow and intuition. So rather than being in this routine where you're doing all these spiritual practices because you think you're supposed to be doing them, my recommendation would be to soften into waking up in the morning, maybe putting your palm on your heart and asking yourself, what feels in most alignment for me this morning? And maybe if you typically meditate and you don't feel like meditating that morning, knowing that it's okay to meditate or it's okay not to meditate, because when we approach our spirituality as if it is a to-do list, we start to shame and guilt ourselves on a subconscious level if we don't do the thing that we said we were going to do, which is all masculine energy. And remember, the journey of going within in spirituality is blending the masculine with the feminine. And this side is specifically the feminine to really sit with what feels best for me in this moment right now. So that's a really powerful journaling prompt right there. And then moving into personal development, are my relationships serving me? Which are and which aren't? How so? How would I rate my communication skills? What areas am I proud of how I communicate within and with others? How could I improve? I'll pause there for a moment because the communication within is so important. And as neuroscience teaches us, we have 60 to 75,000 thoughts a day. And 80% of those are thoughts from the day before. But the real kicker is 90% of those thoughts from the day before are negative. So it is imperative to really go within and to connect with these thoughts and voices, because if you don't bring conscious and intentional awareness to that, most likely you're living on autopilot from thoughts of the day before, and those thoughts are negative. So if you can reclaim your power there and start to intentionally rewrite these stories, that is one of the easiest and most practical and effective ways to reprogram the neural pathways in your subconscious mind. So this exercise is really powerful right there in terms of communication within, and of course, communication with others as well. Are there obligations and responsibilities that I could let go of? How do I bring fun and play into my life on a daily and a weekly basis? Just some ideas to get going for you. And then finally, in the last category of work, what is my relationship with money? This is a big one. Diving into your limiting beliefs or potential limiting beliefs with money is an absolute fantastic way to integrate for so many of us. Next, do I enjoy the way I make money? Because oftentimes, if you're in a high-powered position and you're making a good salary, but it's not in alignment, we stay there because it's out of fear, right? So these prompts can really help unveil some truths. Is my work fulfilling? If not, what would be fulfilling? What does my dream life look like? And think about this in all three of the categories: spirituality, personal development, and finally, work. So that is the feminine side of this, if you will. And now leaning into the masculine, taking action, because this is really the most important part. This is the integration of this specific exercise. So we're going to create a priority list for each of the three buckets. And as you can see here, this is just a sample one I did a while ago. You can see that I wrote for the soul. The first example would be my priority is to wake up in bed, go over what I'm grateful for in that moment, take a mindful minute to connect with my breath and my heart, and ask myself, how can I feed my soul today? Another example, begin to meditate twice a day. If that's something that you would like to do, let go of trying to do all the spiritual things and be in more flow with what feels good in the moment. Moving on to personal development. Maybe it's to speak my truth in a relationship with a partner, even when it's uncomfortable, because oftentimes things like that will come up, and maybe it's not a partner, but it's a close friend, you know? Another example I put for myself that's funny because I live in Santa Cruz and I like to surf, but it says making surfing a priority, committing to 3 times a week, pending good swell. Another one is give my dog more loving attention throughout the day. In work, I wrote pause my email inbox when not working to avoid temptation. This is an awesome tip for anyone that considers themselves someone who works a lot with their email, and especially from their phone. There's an app, I believe it's free. It is free. It's called Boomerang. And there's a feature called pause. You can actually pause your inbox. So you know how most of us will scroll on social media mindlessly and we just don't even realize we're doing it. And then finally we're like, I've just been scrolling for a few minutes. What am I even doing? And then you put your phone down, hopefully, right? Well, I do that with email as well. I'll just like kind of go on my phone and be like, did I get a new email? And I am able to break that habit by pausing my inbox so that no new emails come through. So say I'm out with friends and I check my phone, just kind of like subconsciously open up my email, and maybe it's from a client or maybe it's a vendor or something just goes wrong and it upsets me and that changes how I am in the moment. Well, we're too accessible these days. Remember what it was like before cell phones, before emails? We shouldn't be responding all the time to emails from our phone. So a great tool you can use is to just pause your inbox. Another example, I do speak publicly to corporate and spiritual crowds about soul life balance, is to practice my speech once a week. And another example, create new sales goals for Q4. So there you have it, guys. That is the soul life evaluation. I am telling you, this is a foundational exercise to do when you're integrating plant medicine experiences. It is a fantastic way to look at all these different areas of your life and really go within to see what wants to come to the surface and where you can take action. If you have questions on any of this at all, leave a comment below, send me an email, and I'd be happy to offer a complimentary chat as well. Just a connection call, and you can ask me about this or anything else that's going on. And of course, if you're interested in my program, Structured Flow, where this is the first assignment for the first week, and we have the community, we have guided visualizations, breathwork exercises, guest speakers on so many different topics about integrating spirituality into everyday life, just reach out to me. All of the contact info is in the description of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification for new videos, because I have more educational resources coming out and breathwork exercises, all kinds of different stuff. So check out the playlist. This is the Spirituality Simplified channel. It's a new channel where I've moved away from my podcast Soul Seeker to go deeper and provide even more free content. So I'm sending all my love and I hope to connect with you soon.